Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Gurrs, and Purrs. Today I'm going to be reviewing My Brother's Husband, which is a manga comic series. I have the huge, giant version. I guess this was originally 2 volumes, but I have it as I think it's called a compendium, as one. Alright, so this story centers around Mike Flanagan, Yaichi, Natsuki, and Kana. Those are basically the main characters of the story. So Mike was married to Ryoji, which is Yaichi's brother. This is Yaichi. So Ryoji passes away, and from there Mike decides to go and visit his family that he's never met. And ultimately Mike has an agenda to be accepted as a part of the family. So what I learned from this book is that I guess in Japanese culture, people are still very closeted. It's still very taboo to be openly gay. And so when Mike is there, he brings his Western Canadian affability to the family and his openness about being gay. And it not only affects the family, it also affects their community. Although Yaichi receives Mike in his home, he's not completely accepting or opening, but there's this cultural cordiality that Yaichi has towards Mike, as where his daughter Kana really just loves Mike from the get-go. And so through the character of Kana, who's just a young kid, she openly accepts Mike. And so then Yaichi has to really reevaluate how he treated his brother growing up and learning that his brother was gay. So what I really appreciated about this story is that Yaichi really has internal dialogue throughout the book. He doesn't disrespect Mike, but it's more about him being confronted with someone that's so openly gay, and then Yaichi having to reflect and reevaluate how accepting he is of homosexuality. The other way that this topic is explored is the fact that Natsuki and Yaichi are no longer married, they're divorced, which is also considered a taboo. And in reflecting on how he accepts himself and his daughter and his ex-wife as this family that maybe doesn't look like whatever the ideal that is the expectation in Japan, Yaichi realizes that if he is so accepting of his own family, then he should be just as accepting of Mike and his brother that has passed away. And I very much feel that Mike coming into their family gives Yaichi a chance to heal in a way, to mend how he feels about his brother, having to reevaluate that maybe he wasn't as close to his brother as he could have been, and really seeing that it was in some ways internalized homophobia and the pressures of what's considered the status quo. I really enjoyed how the story just focused on themes of grief, family coming together, talking about homophobia, but in a way that is more meditative and introspective, and really talking about the stigmas in society. Through the character of Mike, he comes across different people in his deceased husband's life, and through those interactions on his own, we as a viewer get to learn about other people being closeted from adulthood to being in their youth, and how they navigate the world, how they feel about that, the pressures of it, realizing that even just being able to just verbally say that a character is gay is like really just climbing a mountain. And Mike just really affects the community in a positive way. And I really enjoyed just the entire book, that it wasn't necessarily about needing to show specific examples of someone being discriminated against in order to get it across the point that people should be accepted equally for who they are. I think there's just like one part in the book where a very blatant discriminatory action takes place. But I do appreciate that it's not like constantly throughout the comic. I just feel like as far as representation goes, you know, in movies or literature, I just feel like it doesn't necessarily always have to be at the expense of someone being treated badly throughout a narrative. So reading this book was an absolute joy. I love the characters. I love Kana. She's just like a sweet little kid. And I enjoyed her youthful honesty that really brings out topics that I don't think adults would really ask. But having the conversations explored through the lens of Kana really helped to move forward the narrative and the conversations that the writer wanted to have in this book. So I just really enjoyed this. I recommended it. I recommend you read it. And the author, Gengora Tagame, also co-founded G-Men magazine in 1994, and I thought that was pretty cool. So go ahead and pick up a copy. I absolutely enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about this below. Subscribe, like. If you didn't like it, let me know. All right, I guess I'll see you later.